Hello everybody, this is Jared, the non-alcoholic aficionado, and today we will be doing a tour and interview of the ABV Technology facility here in Minnesota, where they de-alcoholize beverages to create non-alcoholic beer, wine, and cider. Enjoy.
Yep, this is our own equipment. We built it, designed it, manufactured it all here in Minnesota, and everything is actually custom built in the United States, brought here where we assemble it all. We use a vacuum separation system that we have developed, and that's one of the ways we find it's best to do non-alcoholic beer. So you take a fully fermented beer and just remove the alcohol, and that way you get all those flavors those fermented flavors and the goodness that you get from those. That brewers and winemakers and things are truly, that's what they do best, is they develop those flavors through fermentation. So the way the Equalizer essentially works is we have a dual stage vacuum separation steps. So in our first stage here, what we do is we remove everything that's super light, all the aromatics, and we make those become their own stream in the system, right? So then we take all of the other aspects that are heavier, so ethanol and water and all the colors and flavors, we bump them over to our second filtration stage, and that's where we remove the ethanol. So what we're left with is essentially three streams in our process, and that is aromatics, color and flavor, and then ethanol. So then we recombine the color and the flavor with those aromatics, and that's the non-alcoholic version or portion of the beverage. And then what's remaining is the ethanol, which is blended with water, and that's how we're able to accomplish essentially two beverages from one. So beer or wine in, which gives us a non-alcoholic beverage out, as well as what we call a filtrate or a hard seltzer base. So the winery or the brewery is able to take that and develop their own seltzer line. And with our system, the super unique part is when we put in, call it 10 barrels worth of product, we end up with about 9.5 barrels of a non-alcoholic beverage, as well as 9.5 barrels of that filtrate. And we do that by adding the water into the system. But our customers, it's a twofer. And they get to really expand their offerings into two new product segments where all they do is their normal thing. They make their alcoholic beverage. We give them back two awesome products to build their portfolio.
Mm-hmm. That's super cool. And you guys are doing this at scale, right? With companies across the country?
Yeah. The coolest part about this system, as big as it looks, so for scale, this is me. I'm about 5'10". We can put as little as 1 keg of beer through this machine, and we can go as big as you want. This system is designed to be run unattended by no operator present. So this can run overnight, over the weekend, throughout an entire week for a brewery if they were to say have it in their facility, or if they bring their beverages here, like in these totes that you can see over here. We have breweries bring us anywhere from 1 to 15 of these in any given production run.
Or 50.
Or 50. We're going to hit 50 here soon. It's going to be wild. And once we enter all the information into the user interface, you connect all of your vessels on the floor, on the wet floor, and you walk away. It's super cool.
That's awesome. So tell me, how long has ABV been around, and kind of where did it stem from? I'm curious.
Yeah, so basically 3 guys got together and they decided that non-alcoholic beer can be way better.
They weren't wrong.
Oh, they were not wrong. It can get, and it has gotten so much better. So all in all, those 3 guys, a scientist, a software engineer, and a businessman, decided that they could make it work. So 2015, 2016, they figured it out. And between that time and about 2019, 2020, that's when this guy was built. This is our very first production machine ever. So yeah, and then in about 2020, that's when we really started to expand. We started working with more local breweries, and then also the machines themselves were for sale. So we started selling and building and putting them all over the country and even internationally. And then with that, we've kind of come to the point now where we're stretching into other markets, wineries, cideries. More and more breweries are working with us, and we're able to really offer that NA and hard seltzer manufacturing to everyone.
So I feel like nowadays NA isn't the boring old Pilsner, Lager, Amber. It's not O'Doul's. It's not like this tomato soup flavored, you know, unfermented wort that people are drinking. Nowadays, it's like we've got hazy pale ales with adjuncts, we've got barrel-aged stouts, we've got sours. I mean, we've got NA beer with THC in it. I mean, so I think that's the most exciting thing, and sort of the wave of the NA future is there's products like ours now that can help people create things that they normally wouldn't be able to do in the past.
And in terms of you just kind of mentioned the future, what do you see as the next forefront? Like, is it going to be crazier beers or different styles of preparation? Like, what do you think is coming up the pipe without exposing too much?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lots of deep secrets we have. No, I think the, innovation is sort of the big thing in the craft beer industry, especially wine as well and cider. So I think you're going to start seeing a lot more brands produce non-alcoholic options of either their flagships that they're well known for, or some fun off-brand or different flavors that maybe they haven't tried before. Bauhaus here in Minnesota just released a non-alcoholic cream ale with THC in it, so that's kind of exciting. I think they're one of the first ones to commercially produce that and have it up for sale and in distro.
Did they have to have that below Final 5?
Yeah, so
Alcohol-free?
yeah, so any NA beer legally has to be 0.5 or less.
Yep. And that's a unique distinction. Yeah. Well, yeah. So one thing I did forget to mention: our machine takes any beer under 12% and makes it into a non-alcoholic beer. So it goes under 0.5%. Alcohol-free is technically that 0.0, and it's 0.03% or less. So there's that range between 0.03 and 0.5. That's non-alcoholic. And then below that is alcohol-free.
Yeah, and I know Bauhaus worked with their legal team and everything and their insurance agencies and everything to come up with this. So, I mean, however they did it the right way, and it's amazing.
Well, I mean, it's technically just like adding THC in this regard, adding that to any non-alcoholic beverage, orange juice, lemonade, really anything. So as long as it's a beverage that doesn't contain alcohol, it can also contain that cannabinoid.
Yeah.
Correct.
No.
That's illegal across the entire federal, everywhere.
So that could be the future.
Absolutely. I mean, Keith Villa, who created Syria, he had originally was the head brewer and started Blue Moon and everything, and I think he's also kind of formulating a non-alcoholic Blue Moon type beer with THC in it. But yeah, I think it's definitely a wave of the future. I mean, you're seeing a lot more winemakers get into the non-alcoholic or de-alkalized wine space. Cideries are falling right behind them. We work with Milk and Honey Cider, who released their NA. It's so good.
Have you had it?
It's so good.
You need to try it.
$20.
Oh, it's so worth it.
I gotta try it.
It's worth it. It has those fermented flavors. It literally tastes like a real cider.
Yeah, I mean, and essentially you're buying 2 bottles of wine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And the best part is you're splitting it up, so you don't have to drink the entire bottle, right? So that is the unique part about pricing, and a lot of people feel like NA seems expensive, and it does seem that way, but all in, it's priced in the same regard as its alcoholic counterparts.
It's a premium product.
And also.
I just got the Mash Gang set up.
Oh, yeah. I love them. Those guys are awesome. Oh my gosh, I love the Mash Gang crew so much because they market their non-alcoholic as if it was a real beer brand, which I think a lot of people don't do. They spend the time and the money and the energy to make an NA brand, and then they don't promote it and love it like they do their regular beer. You know what I mean? So seeing somebody like Mash Gang who does the fun labels and has that sort of fun, crazy marketing strategy, it makes you feel cool to drink a non-alcoholic beer. And gosh, that's something I wish that more people who have non-alcoholic brands would maybe dive into a little, is show your NA some love. Because there's just as big of a non-alcoholic market as there is a beer market. Well, we just saw today there's like 92% of people who go in to buy regular alcohol will end up buying some sort of a non-alcoholic product.
Like, so 90, I think the stat was 94% of non-alcoholic buyers also buy alcohol.
Yeah.
Alcoholic beverages. So it's not like, NA beer is not for the sober crew, the
Only.
sober people.
Yeah.
It is
For everybody.
everyone. I love my alcohol, but I also love the non-alcoholic options because I can sit and enjoy an evening where I'm not gonna feel it the next day. I can still have those flavors that I'm used to enjoying, and over my however many years kind of cultivated my own palate, and it's just nice to be able to still have that flavor profile that wasn't even an option 5 years ago.
And you know, it kind of goes without saying, but breweries being able to utilize our services and such is just another way to add like an inclusivity option to your tap room. We're always trying to find like, how can we get more customers in our tap rooms? You know, how can we be of value to the community? That's what breweries are, they're community spaces. So having a non-alcoholic option is almost a no-brainer, because then now you are welcoming people into your brewing, making them feel welcome and like they're just like one of your regular other customers.
I've been encouraging some of the non-alcoholic options at like restaurants and bars too. I had an untitled lager Italian Pilsner with
So good.
Oh my gosh.
It just put the cherry on top of the cake. It was great. But it was $8. I can get it for $2.50 in a 6-pack box.
Oh, but that's beer.
Yeah.
Like that, I mean, you get a 12-pack of light beer for $12, but you go into the bar and it's a $6 pour. No, that's typical distribution, and that's how breweries and bars make their profit, and that's a business.
But that $8 beer enhanced your experience and made it more exciting for you. So, yeah. It's nice to see a lot more bars and restaurants also embracing non-alcoholic options instead of just having, you know, something that sits in the back of the cooler that like an old bottle they open every now and then. Now they have tap lines, they've got it like displayed, they've got it on menus. Like that has changed a lot in the last few years. It's great. So it's nice to see the whole hospitality industry really just accepting the non-alcoholic kind of wave that we're on.
Definitely. If I can ask, what's your biggest customer?
Our biggest production customer here in Minnesota.
Amount of output that you put out for a brand.
That's okay to talk about.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be our Bauhaus Brew Labs. Absolutely. Yep. They have taken non-alcoholic beer just incredibly seriously. They are so in tune to recipe development and making the best possible product for their consumers. You can see that with their variety of brands. They've done hazies, they've done lagers, they've done sours, ambers, hefeweizens. And now again, they're working their way into the THC infused beverages.
And we have like daily conversations with them about safety and preservation options and, you know, tasting panels and everything. Like they've definitely taken it and ran with it, and they're very, very successful.
And it's all based on the individual too. And so that's the best part about having the options, and, you know, ease your way into it if you feel like if you're ready.
And I think there's a lot more of those like online non-alcoholic retailers too, so it's easier to get a better variety of non-alcoholic options these days too.
Oh yeah. My favorite kind of thing is like the small local liquor stores. Even it used to just be a dusty little 6-pack of Caliber or Duels in the corner, and now there are tons, for sure here in Minnesota, that I've seen of liquor stores that have cooler space for their NAs, entire doors.
And I've been in beer sales before, and getting cooler space is very difficult. So to have retailers prioritize non-alcoholic options like they would a normal beverage, so cool.
So Ashley, where are we right now?
We are in our tap room, which is basically this. Usually when we do demos for people so that they can try out their beer, wine, cider brand before they go all in on things. We do demo runs so they can try it out in R&D and whatnot. And sometimes we have just like a little bit left over, and so we will put it on tap here so that we can taste it. And you know, sometimes we have sensory panels and everything, and sometimes it's also fun to try it, and then you can tell your customer, like, I cannot wait for you guys to get this back. It's so good, which is usually what I do because I'm just like freaking out all the time. And then we've got, so this one here is kind of fun. It's from Talea Beer Co. in Brooklyn, and it's all woman owned and operated, and they work with our New York location. This is a strawberry lemon splash. It's a sour, and it's just a beer that they have on tap, and it's done really well for them. They tried it out as an NA, and it flew, and you know, their customers were asking for more, so then we put it in cans for them.
Very cool.
Yeah.
You do the can process here?
This one was in our location in New York.
Cool.
Yeah, so.
And that's the best part, that we basically are able to let any size brewery produce any size batch of NA and can it. And that way it's not just limited to a brewery with a canning line or a brewery with all the necessary means to stabilize and be able to put it into a package. Because that's important, is safety with NA beer and NA beverages in general. But that's the best part, is even a brewery as small as like
I mean, East Lake used to pull off like a barrel and bring it over so that they'd have it. They did their barrel-aged stout, which was like a fudge brownie.
Oh, cool.
R.I.P. Love those guys.
But hey, cheers.
Come in the middle there. Cheers. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. But I mean, say a brewery can only they have a 3-barrel brew house.
Yeah.
If they have the ability to, they could order a 30-barrel batch of NA and have it canned and delivered to their brewery.
So they just 10x their output by not doing
anything.
Everything, yeah.
Yeah,
That's great.
we can help them do everything.
Wow.
And that's the coolest part, that we feel is an opportunity for any size brewery.
Yeah, we work with, we even work with just brands. So Bear Brewing Company out of California. He's just a really cool guy with a really cool vision, and he created a brand, and we worked with him to help him come up with the recipe styles that he wanted and everything. And so then that is contract brewed, and we de-alkalize it, and he just goes out and slings it out of the back of his car, and he like knows cool people, and it's just so awesome for him to be able to have a brand and a product without having to have all the equipment in a huge brewery.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Do you see that being not the way of the future, but an option for growth?
Heck yeah.
Just kind of optimizing resources and whatnot?
For sure.
Both us and the NA market.
Yeah.
So to So Bear's point, they don't own a single brew kettle. They don't have a tank. They don't own a building. They have a brand, and they found awesome beer, awesome NA. They got it canned, and now they're reselling it. And it's just a cool thing that is going to be able to expand that market so much more.
That's awesome.
Now you really have to try those.
I will try anything.
So
Just as long as there's no alcohol.
this is a non-alcoholic rosé. Rosé can come in all different shades.
That is something I love about our tap room here, is everything on tap that you see is non-alcoholic.
Yeah. So I want to have you take a sip of that and tell me what you think.
Cheers. I love this wine.
Oh no. That's good.
Isn't that crazy?
Can we get
And this is
this
just
out?
wine straight through the machine. They didn't alter it, they didn't add anything, they didn't blend it. This is literally right through the machine.
So they came in with a 10-12% rosé, shipped it, pushed it through the system. That's what we got.
Yeah.
Bingo.
That's amazing. It's really good.
Yep. So we're pushing more and more wineries. Well, not pushing. We're marketing to more and more wineries, letting them know that we're close, we're local. This is a small winery, This is a winery over in Wisconsin.
Okay.
Chateau St. Croix, and then we also have a white of theirs on tap. And we've done all sorts of stuff. We worked with North Shore Winery up in Two Harbors. No, they are in
Lutsen.
Okay.
North Shore Winery up there. We helped them out. And then, thank you.
This is your milk and honey cider that you
This
didn't get to try yet.
This is just their demo. This is not their This is not the actual bottled product. Just so you know. So this is kind of exactly what you said, straight out of the machine.
So their final product, they do blend it with some apple, I guess, juice or whatnot.
We don't really know what
we
they do.
don't really
That's
know
kind
their
of
whole
own-
process, but
But they definitely do post processing, what we call it. So after the machine, they take it back, they do things, they obviously have to stabilize it, and they bottle it, and they put it in market. So enjoy.
Sure.
But even that's really good.
That's good. White, but it's got a little
a lot of flavor.
I love that.
That's what I love about it too, because it's like literally everything still has all that flavor.
And that fermented quality.
Yeah.
That was my
Tastes like an apple cider you get in the fall.
just a juice.
Yeah, that's what I was curious
Well,
about.
that's sort of the joke, you know.
That was the first time.
It's like the White Claw NA. Is it LaCroix?
That rattled me.
That I don't fully understand, but I guess there's a market for everything, you know. But like
I
we'll
respect
approach
it.
cideries and we'll be like, hey, you want to make some NA cider? And they're like apple juice? We're like, no, listen.
Hold up, wait a minute.
So
No, I went to one of the first cideries that we approached in here in Minnesota, and that was the response was, I don't understand why I would buy apple juice from you and I'd buy apple juice already.
Yeah.
And we did the demo, and they understood. They're like, we get this, we totally do. So like we were saying, the fermented qualities that these guys work so hard to achieve, and all those flavors that they blend and they build, and all the time and effort, like we retain that. And we give it back to them in just a non-alcoholic form, so they can still sell something they're so proud of, that they can still put their name on. Exactly.
I went back to the rosé.
That's okay.
isn't that good?
It's so good.
Is it? It's going to be a little bit sparkling, right? Or is that just how it came out of that?
Yep. So when we put anything through the machine, typically there's a small amount of carbonation, and we typically do a small amount of carbonation, and that's mostly just in the keg, so that it basically stays as fresh as possible.
Sure.
But in regards to like how they would bottle it, that is all depending on how that winery or cidery or brewery wants to can or bottle their beverage.
So they do that process after you send it back to them?
Yep. I mean, basically, we can carbonate in the kegs if a brewery or winery wants. Otherwise, we can send it back to that customer completely flat, and then they're able to do whatever they want as far as how they're going to present the product to their customers.
Cool. So you've got 8 taps.
I'm pretty much always 8 NAs on tap, and then backups waiting to be rotated.
Oh yeah, we've got kegs on the back. Not kegs on
Yeah,
kegs.
so like just pop in one day and probably taste 8 new NAs.
But that's the cool thing. So the main reason why we have this space is so that when the customers approach breweries and wineries and they say, we want an NA wine or an NA beer, that customer or the brewery or winery can come here. They can sit right in this place.
They can do the R&D.
Yep. We can have them taste other brands and even their own brand, and then we can work through the process and help them get it in their facility for the customer. So
What are the odds of getting the Surly Furious NA?
Well, Surly's making an NA, and they use a different process. They're using the modified yeast, and I think it's pretty good.
I really like it.
I like it. Yeah.
I love it. Yeah, and there's like we were saying earlier, there's multiple ways to make non-alcoholic beer. So we use our process. They have their own process, and that's the best part about non-alcoholic and this space is there's room for everyone right now, and that's the coolest part is everyone has their own flavor profiles, their own palate that they've developed over the years, and everyone likes their own stuff, and I appreciate that a lot.
So what's the favorite beer you guys have ever pushed through? Tough one.
Gosh, I know I've probably said it. It's like every few weeks I'm like,
Yep,
this is the
my
best
favorite,
one
yeah.
we've ever done, you know? And then I'm on it for a few days, and then a week later I'm like, oh my God, this is the best. I think personally my favorite is the Rare Candy Sour from Elm Creek.
Okay.
It was insane good. Insane good.
Yeah, it's one of those things like my flavor profiles are going to change with the seasons and stuff like that. But as far as like my favorite NA beer, like tried and true, I know this sounds like kind of cheesy, but Nah Hellas is just so easy and approachable just to grab a can no matter what time of year. But I gotta say that the barrel aged stout that we did for Eastlake, it's this little orange guy right here, and that, I wish they were still around. I love that brewery. But they were able to take a small batch of a barrel aged stout. We were able to run it, and man, it was just everything you could possibly dream of. And that's something we could still do for anyone, which is cool. I wish we could find more breweries that were willing to do that. Because I know there are brands out there of those barrel-aged stouts that are doing small batches and selling immediately, and that is totally a niche that needs to be nurtured right now in the NA
It's
space.
fun. It's fun to get a hyped up NA, just like a new beer that would be released, That's why I say, like, I wish people would market their NA like they do their regular beer, because it deserves just as much love and attention as a traditional style.
So Black Friday morning, I got a text at 9, and I got 2 bottles of the Gravitas for Bravas. And it was amazing.
Exactly.
I paid $36.95 per bottle.
Isn't that crazy?
Crazy. But I didn't bat an eye because everyone told me you have to get it.
Exactly.
So I had to get it, and it was amazing. And other beers, I mean, do you know how that one was made? Is that what Dealcoholized?
We don't know.
I'm not
And I don't want to
certain.
speculate, honestly.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have no clue.
I don't know how they do theirs in general.
And that's the thing, like every brand, you really don't know what they're doing because there are multiple ways to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we know what a lot of people are doing, and it's interesting because you'll get great beverages from all the different ways to make it. It's not just like, clearly sometimes we think we're the best, but it's just craft NA has come so far, and people are actually putting the time and the energy and the research and like the love into it now, so you kind of almost can't go wrong.
No. And to your point with the Gravitas, as from a business perspective, a brewery can sell a product and make a good amount of money on that product because it's that rare concept. And as a consumer, you want to get yourself a little treat, every now and then. And it's so cool to be able to pour that out and just, like, I have a cellar full of barrel-aged stouts in my basement, and it's too many. But it's like when we crack one of those open on a Saturday night, and in the fall, and it's just crisp out. It's like you just have that sensation of just, this is amazing. This is so fun. Like,
It's an experience.
doing the
It's
same
not-
thing.
It's not just a can of Coke. It's like it's an experience.
So I think that's the concept of the spectrum of
Yeah,
NA beers.
so brewers, send us your beer and we'll suck the fun out of it.
And then send that back to them.
And then send it back, and now you have 3 revenue streams out of 1 product.
Exactly. Well, I'll say thanks to both of you for joining the channel here with this video. Really appreciate the time, showing me around, answering the questions. Let me try some free NA beer and wine, actually. And let folks know kind of what they should do. Should we have some breweries reach out to you? What's best?
Yeah, I think the best thing for a brewery to understand the demand that is actually there for NA is to ask for it. And that's the best thing any consumer can do, because we are a B2B business. We work directly with breweries and wineries. We don't sell direct to consumer at all. So we're willing to help any size brewery, any size volume, push into that market and give you something enjoyable to drink.
Yeah, if you're interested, just let us know, and we'll do a couple demo runs for you so you can R&D it, get it out to some of your customers to taste it, and then we'll make your dreams come true after that.
Well, looking forward to new stuff coming out of here, whether we know it is or not. Hopefully it's the NA market, and there's some tasty beverages down the road for everybody.
Can confirm there's some interesting stuff coming, so.
All right, thanks both of you for your time. Bye.
Thanks.